Hey Warriors fans, I'm Scott Warris, and it is time to feature yet another Northern Athletics Collegiate Conference Student Athlete of the Week for the second week in a row. Men's track in the NACC, it's Zeke. Zeke Micheel. Zeke, congratulations. We talked last week at this time about the great season you've been putting together. Now you've got a couple of back-to-back Conference Athlete of the Week awards. For the weekend that was at UW-Milwaukee, the Panther tune-up, another school record, another top time in the NACC. For the mile, you finished second out of 37, 4 minutes, 19.70 seconds. You beat your own record by about a second or so from 3 seasons ago. Take us back to the weekend at the Klatschi Center at UWM and what went, again, so right for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I wasn't exactly sure about what time I'd be running coming into the weekend. This is the first mile I've run this season so far, so and I haven't really hit much fast workouts at around mile pace yet, so I was really curious to see what was how things were gonna unfold. But there were a lot of seed times that were right around where I was trying to run, or right around where I thought I could run, and so at the start of the race, I knew there was going to be a lot of people around me to pace off of, and so for the first half of the race, I just tried to stay out of trouble and stay patient. Try to be as efficient as possible and kind of run some even splits throughout the first half, and then try to move up and match other people's moves throughout the second half of the race, and I think it worked out pretty well.
I would say it worked out pretty well. In that race, like let's just use that as the example for this next question. How and when do you and did you pick and choose your moments to make a move? What goes into that thought process? What goes into that decision making as to when you maybe can see a little seam there and move up in the pack?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does help that they have a clock on the side just to check what pace you're running every 200 meters. But so I could tell we were on pace to run about 4:20 through halfway, and I just wanted to before the race you kind of do the math of what should I be at 200 and at 400 just to be on pace, making sure I'm not running super quick. But over the course of the race, people will make moves, and like a surge to the front happens every once in a while where somebody will start to put a gap on the front of the field, and so you just have to be aware of whoever's in first, where they're at, and make sure that you don't let them get too far away with too little distance left to go.
So was it a physical race? We were having some fun and talking before we started taping about the physical nature of running, and people probably don't realize that it can be a brutal sport at times. Was this a particularly physical one, so to speak?
Maybe a little bit in the first 200 to 400 meters. Just while everyone's trying to find their position within the field of runners. And so there's a lot of shuffling between positions, and everyone's kind of bunched up pretty close to each other. But things seemed to string out quite a bit after we hit about 400 meters in, and it was pretty smooth sailing from there.
Momentum is a term that is used a lot in sports. This season, I'm looking big picture now, the season you're putting together with a couple of victories already, a couple top 2, top 3 finishes already, school records, top NACC times in just about 4 or 5 weeks of competition here. You seem to have a lot of personal momentum. Is that accurate to say? Does that even exist in your sport, do you think?
I think it definitely does. Confidence plays a huge factor into the way you race, and I think having a lot of confidence means that you can, approach a race with like a much more positive mentality. And a lot of times in those longer endurance races, it means you're not counting yourself out, and you're really maximizing your performance in each race.
From the mental side, and I think you and I talked about this in cross-country season when you were the athlete of the week as well, but like, do you enter a race, try to clear your mind of all the other things going on in life and school, whatever it might be? Like, what's the mental game? Where do you try to get up here right before race time?
Well, I guess I try to stay fairly level-headed about what I have done in the season, and I never like to underestimate the competition of the people we're running against. There's lots of really talented runners in our conference, and so just making sure that I am able to follow whatever race plan I set up with coach and or some other teammates, and kind of just work from there. And I guess if that means reevaluating based on what other people do halfway through the race, then I guess we got to be prepared for that as well. So.
Got to make in-race adjustments. You know, it's about in-game adjustments. Okay, real quick here before we have our little questions at the end, some fun. This weekend up at Stevens Point, it'll be the NACC Indoor Championships. Give us a little preview from your perspective and the mindset of you and your teammates heading into the indoor title with the NACC.
Yeah, this season we've been blessed with like a much larger roster than we have in past years. So this is the first time for me that it's been on the team that it's been a little chaotic in trying to pick events, because there's a cap on 5 athletes per event. So we've kind of been filling those up pretty quickly, and for some people it means running something a little shorter or a little longer than they might normally have been racing. But for me, I'm just getting ready for a 5K and a mile this weekend. In the past, I've done a 5K mile and 3K, so just backing off the number of events, I guess, a little bit here.
Okay.
But yeah, and then the 5K should be a really solid race. There's some seed times up pretty close to what I've run. So it'll be a good and honest, fast race, I think, and so pretty exciting for a Friday night race. And then just making sure I recover on Friday night for the Saturday mile.
All right, it'll be at Stevens Point. You can track everything, as always, at WLCsports.com. All right, Zeke, you know how this goes. I hold in my hand 3 cards. Each card has a list of questions, a theme to them, and what's it going to be this week?
This one right here.
All right, he's going with food. Food is the category here. Favorite flavor or color Gatorade?
Definitely Cool Blue.
Definitely
Definitely
cool. Not even close. Crunchy or smooth peanut butter?
Smooth peanut butter.
The one food item that makes you think holiday season?
Probably Christmas cookies.
Makes sense. Any one particular cookie, like any one kind of cookie?
My mom makes some good snowball cookies. So
That's good. What is the strangest item you've ever eaten? Anything exotic, anything you tried once and went never again?
I've had, I think, calamari before.
Just once?
Yeah.
Never again?
It was all right.
All right.
Not my favorite, but
Okay.
It's okay.
And the last one for you. Rank these in order of preference: green beans, broccoli, Brussels sprouts. How would you rank them order of preference?
I'll probably go broccoli first. It really depends how you cook the Brussels sprouts, I guess. But
That's fair. That's a good point.
I'll go green beans and then Brussels sprouts.
Okay. Depends how it's cooked.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. And your wild card question, Zeke Micheel, is your favorite race memory to this point in your life?
I think I'll have to go with outdoor conference my sophomore year. I was able to come away with wins in the steeple and the 1500 and the 5K there, and so it was that was definitely a first for me. That was probably the most success I've had in a conference meet so far in my time at WLC, or I guess ever. So, but it was really cool to have to be at home at WLC on the outdoor track here, and to have support from my parents and teammates. And
on that day, with everything that happened for you that day, is there one snapshot in your mind when you think of that day that pops up first?
Well, I remember when I won the track athlete meet there, and I was able to go say hi to my parents after that, and give them a big hug, and so that was really nice.
That's a good snapshot to have. Zeke and the team at the NACC Indoor Championships up in Stevens Point this weekend. Stay healthy, keep it rolling. Who knows? We may be talking to him again next week. Chatting with Zeke. Thanks for watching.